And in the top left corner, the red Zerg, Jaco. In the bottom right corner, the blue Terran, OntheAtack. OntheAtack, moving the SCV across the map, just to the front of his natural. He's electing to put the supply depot on the low ground. And I imagine the bunker is going to go right here as opposed to on the ramp. So a little bit greedy. Opening from OntheAtack. He wants to insulate that natural. And in the top left, Stefan. Or Jaco, that is. Dropping the hatchery. 17 hatch. Hatchery goes down. Now we know what happened in the last game. Jaco got very aggressive. ATAC was able to hold. We wonder if Jaco is going to adjust his strategy going forward, or if he's going to try the same kind of aggressive Baneling build, because he did have some success blessing down the natural. It was just when he committed into the main base, it wasn't to be. A little bit of missed micro from Jaco. But maybe he thinks if he just micros properly, or better this time, he can pull out a win. Command center on the low ground from OntheAtack. Getting really greedy here. Does not fear Jaco. Maybe his confidence has been bolstered from that last match. Overlord going across the map. He's got to be careful because OntheAtack does go Marine first. So that Marine will definitely be hunting for Overlords. OntheAtack sending the SCV scout, looking for a little bit of information here. Although with this timing, I'm not sure what he expects to find. He sees that the hatch is in fact down. So obviously it's not some crazy 12 pool or anything like that, but most of the time in ZVT, that's not happening anyways. I suppose it's good to rule it out. Playing to block one of these third bases could be good, because Jaco should be sending that drone any minute now. Slight oversaturation in the main from Jaco. He should be rallying to the natural. 4 lanes there. Just good policy, just in case your opponent goes Reaper. Although OntheAtack generally does not go Reaper, but you never know. Factory going down behind it. OntheAtack, another barracks. Completing this wall off here. Jaco, he is droning his natural much harder than last time, and he's going quick spire. Quick lair with a roach warren behind it. Very interesting. And he made sure to hide that roach warren in the main, so it's not visible from the front of the natural. An inject here, it's a little bit late for Jaco. Meanwhile, OntheAtack, 2 barracks going down. He is really expecting some aggression here with that double bunker. And Jaco is countering it well. He's just macroing. Playing very smart, a link to deny the third base. But that third base is not coming anytime soon on the way OntheAtack plays. He's very slow to expand. He's just idle for a little bit too long. We know that OntheAtack has had macro problems in the past. That's his Achilles heel. So maybe Jaco thinks by carrying this game out longer, he can manifest his advantage. Although still, he could be joining this natural a little bit harder. Not much is going down now. We know that OntheAtack has a very defensive posture with this build. So therefore, the Zerg can't afford to be greedy. You could see this fully saturated. He's building those drones. Hydra list down behind it. I suppose he remembers that OntheAtack does like those Banshees. A double Evo chamber and by about the 5-minute mark would be good for Jaco. Stim should be on the way for OntheAtack, although he's very poor with the gas. I mean, he is pumping SCVs in both bases. That's good, but this low gas is preventing him getting Stim. Well, he could grab it now. But OntheAtack has done nothing to punish Jaco. No 1-1-1 drop. No Liberator harass or Hellion run by, so Jaco's just been kind of free to drone up. Scan goes down, doesn't really get much information, just sees that 2 gases are being taken. Jaco has some idle larvae here. Both players just kind of taking the passive approach this game. On the attack, will he lift that and go Banshee? No, he's going double Viking. We see +1 range coming from Jaco. And really not too much to say right now. I mean, both guys are just kind of hesitant right now. No harass happening across the map. Jaco is content to just macro. Although, I mean, this is kind of late to get your third base up and droned. Over saturation here could benefit from a transfer. Evolution chamber going down, second one for Jaco. No Hydra upgrades, so maybe just wants them as a deterrent for Banshees. But there's no Banshees coming. So Jaco really kind of has a ragtag force right now. Not much. And he's way over saturated here. I mean, he's got a drone transfer here and build 2 extractors and get that 4th base up even. I'm not sure where his APM is going right now. Not much is happening. On the attack, realizes that no aggression is coming. So now he's at a decision point. He decides to get that 3rd base landed. Nice ling placement here from Jaco. We'll slightly delay that command center, it looks like. On the attack, getting his proper upgrades. He needs to get that armor 1 started. He has the money for it. And 2 barracks up for what's going to start being a 3-base economy very soon. I think we need some more barracks here for on the attack, or a double factory to go more siege tank heavy perhaps, but he needs more production while pumping out those supply depots, which he's doing right now. But he needs more production here to go with his economy that's developing. Jaco takes the 4th, undisturbed. Just kind of Roach Hydra. I mean, Roach Hydra doesn't trade that great against Marine Medvac tank and Marauders. So ATAC does have that going for him. Again, the main, very oversaturated. 3rd base undersaturated. On the ATAC, looking to get out on the map here. It's 8 minutes. On the attack, he's just kind of turtling up. Happy to take that 3rd base. He's getting his tanks in good positions. He's got 2 bunkers here. He's kind of impenetrable. I think he's just hoping that Jaco throws his army at him and makes a dire mistake that's cost inefficient, and then on the attack can just counter. Let's see if Jaco obliges. And Jaco is obliging. I mean, let's see if he attacks from both sides. Doesn't. Runs in. Going to go for a tank. Gets the tank. Runs away. I mean, nicely controlled, but a lot of lings lost for that tank. Jaco knows that ATAC has that 3rd base. And ATAC has pretty good saturation. He's up 3 workers on Jaco. And it's just that Jaco, I mean, he's a little bit slow to drone up his economy. That's the problem. Also, a drone transfer would be really nice here into the 4th. He could have a 5th going down. But he's preferring to make a big ragtag army here. Some lurkers, some hydras, some roaches, some ravagers. A little bit awkward to control. Usually you see lurkers or ravagers, but he has some lurkers and some ravagers. Let's see if he can make it work here. It's definitely an interesting thought. And now Jaco finally passes the worker count for on the attack. But with mules, let's look at the income here. Jaco is mining more, and that's because the 4th base now is starting to get saturated. And on the attack with a big drop force here. Flying those medvacs across the map. Taking the roundabout way because he doesn't want to walk into an army like this, that's for sure. And let's see if he can get a cost-effective trade. It's usually around this 8 to 10 minute mark when armies start moving out and mid-game plays start happening. So these two guys are finally making their moves after sitting back. OntheAtack must feel like he can defend well enough here with what's left in his base. The medvacs are out. And they're coming in. Jaco's attacking. OntheAtack attacking. Oh, finally, action is happening in this game after a lull. Jaco burning down the barracks. He's taking tank fire. Meanwhile, the drone pull on this third base is not happening. All the drones are going down. And these Marines are just taking out the hatchery. Jaco decides to move back. I think if he attacked from both prongs, he probably could have penetrated this position. Instead, he overcommitted on one side. And then once he lost the hatchery, he decided to move back. And maybe he thinks he can crush this army. If he attacks from both sides, he definitely can, which he's doing. You have one corruptor out punishing the medvacs. The lurker barely burrows in time, saves itself. Queen takes out the medvac. So we see here, it's 3 base to 3 base now. The Terran has still been more cost efficient. The problem is the Terran is without medvac support right now. That one starport is clogged up on medvacs. And this is what I mean when I said ATAC needs more infrastructure. Instead of the barracks, you're going for the starports here. Very interesting. We would need to see another orbital going down for OntheAtack. He's going to mine out soon. Whereas Jaco, he's retaking this base, I like the double expand move. Jaco coming in on this position. Waiting a bit too long in my opinion. You can just punish this. OntheAtack forced to cancel the low ground construction. SCV gets taken out. And Jaco playing it smart here. At least for now, but... Okay. Ouch. Oh my god. I mean, those lurkers probably going to help a bit in this fight. OntheAtack went a bit too forward there. You don't want to be fighting violent lurkers outside tank range. But, I mean, that was audacious from Jaco just walking up there on that narrow ramp. At least hit him from 2 sides. Even better. Jaco's got a lot of heart. But sometimes his tactics fail him. And he was in a commanding position. But now it seems like maybe he opened himself up to some counterplay from OntheAtack. But we'll see. More lurkers are morphing now in the middle of the map. And OntheAtack could maybe take this Bioforce and send it across the map and punish the positioning of Jaco here. Because in a brute fight, I'm not sure if he can come out the winner with these army supplies. OntheAtack. Gathering his forces. A repair could be nice on this tank. Let's see Jaco. He does have hive tech. Again, a worker transfer would be appropriate. And he's going in again, this time with the lurkers first. And it's just such a narrow choke. I mean, I don't understand why the vials are not being shot on the tanks. And he's getting hit by bio in the back, but this is still kind of working for Jaco. Because the lurkers are just shredding the bio. But seeing a lack of corrosive vials here by Jaco. I think Jaco is kind of breaking OntheAtack here. He just turned this into a bit of a macro game, and despite the positioning of ATAC. Oh, he should have definitely turned around there. And all these forces will be taken out. And just as I said, I thought Jaco was breaking him. I forgot that there were 4 more tanks back here, and Jaco just decided to push in with a bit of a bruised force. But Jaco does have a lot of mineral in the bank to remax. But the problem is he's oversaturated. He has idle workers, and he really needs to transfer to his new bases here. Definitely a weakness in this play. These idle drones are really costing him. Yes, he has 3k in the bank, but He could easily be hurting for money if a couple more of these trades go south like that one. And he has a Viper here. He's got the idea. He just needs to consume the hatchery for some energy to make this Viper playable. And we see OntheAtack here pumping out another command center. I like it. And he's trying to retake those positions. Supplies are even, though. And it just goes to show that Jaco lost a lot of supply. This Viper now has enough energy for a blinding cloud. Injects could be happening. Jaco getting a bit flustered in the late game. These hatcheries are not injected. This gas is not taken, and he's very low on gas. He's even taken this geyser. But we have 3 drones just went into it. He should put these other 3 on it. He is definitely starved for gas. Jaco wisely checking the north east expansion. OntheAtack is just kind of turtling in this corner in the map. He's a little bit battered and bruised. But that fight definitely got him back in the game. And if he can drag this out while slowly expanding and just having more cost-effective trades with Jaco, while also making Jaco pay with this drop play, catching him while he's out of position, that could be a path to victory for OntheAtack. And now it's definitely time to pick up. Oh, no pickup there. Bit of sloppy micro by Atack. Can pick up these Marauders now, at least. And they are just kind of getting wrecked in the field. Atack known for decent micro. I'm not sure why he's doing this. There's the pickup finally. These tanks need to be sieged up. He'll need all the tank support he can get. It seems like Jaco's having a really tough time penetrating these 4 bases, while the BCs are now coming in. We're on the ATAC, the air switch. And this could be the momentum shift that he needs. Although Jaco does already have a lot of Hydras on the field. So in a straight up fight, Jaco can win, but can OntheAtack get enough value from these BCs in the meantime? And he ports them back after getting some drone kills. Not bad. Let's look at the income tab now. Jaco is still winning in the income department. But OntheAtack, he's got some idle SCVs himself. Some oversaturation here. He needs to send this to this mineral line ASAP. He knows he needs to mule it. But Jaco coming in here. If he can get here before the planetary fortress finishes, that'll be good for him. And yes, he does. Let's see if we can see an abduct or a blinding cloud come from Jaco. Oh, just gets wrecked by the Vikings, I believe, or the missile turret. And Jaco here, he can just leave. But he's getting a decent trade. It's just problematic if he wanders in that tank line without biting the tanks. Oh, but OntheAtack's getting whittled down. These tanks in the back here, 3 tanks. No vials going down on the tanks. Oh my god. If he would actually use his Ravagers, Jesus Christ, what's going on? Jaco just threw his whole army out. And, oh my god. Yes, he took out this base. That would have been a great opportunity to turn back. Take the W. Reconsolidate. And now, OntheAtack, he's got 4 BCs, and this is going to start snowballing if Jaco can't get his corruptor count up. Let's look at the production tab. Looks like he's going with Hydras. That's a decent decision. Hydra, Ravager, Corruptor here. He's got enough Hydras now. Let's see how the BCs do here. A lot of BCs coming to the field. He needs to buy a little battle cruiser. Oh, the Corruptors. Hydra's now focusing down the battle cruisers. This is the clutch moment. There's a red one in the back. Random Marauder coming in the middle of the map. And this is definitely a knockout, drag-out type of brawl. These two guys are really giving it to each other here. And we see OntheAtack is still pumping the BCs. And I think maybe this BC count is going to start to get out of control. Jaco is having trouble keeping up. He was a bit slow saturating his bases. This gas still not taken, and now he is in a gas crisis, having a gas crisis. He desperately needs gas for hydro disruptors. Oh, half his army goes into the wanders into a planetary fortress and just throwing away those Ravagers for free. These BCs went in the middle of the map, and I think this might snowball. Although the Lurkers are definitely doing work down here. This is arresting OntheAtack's income. Atack himself could split off and take some more gas from that expansion. He is also gas starved. 2 BCs go back, and this is a real knockout, drag-out brawl. But with 6 battlecruisers on the field, Jaco does not have the army to deal with this right now. And he needs all the time he can get. He's building spores. He's making as many Hydras and Corruptors as he can. Hydras are 3-3. Because Hydras are 3-3 and he has no upgrades for his air, I think it's better to just keep massing Hydras. Those will trade very well against BCs. Use the Corrosive Bile on the tanks. That's something that's been lacking from Jaco this game. It's really cost him in a few engagements where those tank lines could have been biled down, but no biles were shot. And if you're not going to use Corrosive Bile as a Ravager player, just don't make the Ravager, because you're losing out on tons of value. But OntheAtack, for all of Jaco's missed micros and terrible attacks right into the defensive line of OntheAtack, he is still out expanding Atack and has had the income lead all game. And if this gold base gets up, while Atack is barely getting this back up, Jaco can bring himself right back into this game. So OntheAtack needs to get busy with this battlecruiser lead and start microing them, because the Hydra count is not that high right now. And he could be throwing away his window for victory if he lets this gold base get up. OntheAtack, again, he likes those random move outs. Unsupported with medevac, just a little bit of bio. Oh, here's the medvacs. Very nice. Just snipes a hatchery. And Jaco guilty of kind of F2ing his army around sometimes. We all do it. But units were not appropriately split to defend both ends. Although it's very hard to defend the north and the south. So even though he loses that base, if this gold base can get up, it's going to be huge for Jaco. 2 spores here, but now 6 BCs flying by. This is the momentum Atack needs. Two Hydras come in early. The Hydra's now fighting against the BCs. No BC actually goes down and tons of damage was given. Now Jaco, what is he doing wrong that he could be doing? Well, he's letting this base come up for free. And I understand you don't want attacking this entrenched position with the planetary, but letting this come up? This is how Atack is going to get back in this game. Jaco has the forces to shut down that base right now. He's just kind of idling. A little bit discombobulated by the pressure of OntheAtack. And keeping the Terran on 4 bases would be a path to victory for Jaco. However, now with this planetary coming up, bunkers coming down, I imagine soon turrets are going to come up. He's letting Atack entrench this position. And that could be a big mistake. Some static defense here would be nice. I would quadruple spore this a couple spines. Jaco going back down to the south of the map. He's catching these BCs out. BCs unsupported like this in the middle of the map. That's a critical mistake from Atack. He's jumping them back. The bio in the north of the map is making a big play. But Jaco is reacting while Atack gets this base up over here. But the problem is Atack has not noticed that gold base yet. Medvacs going down from the Corruptors. Corruptors fly away when there's still a Medvac. I mean... Now he's chasing it down. The Queen is coming forward to fight. Marauders get taken out. We see this Bioforce is keeping tabs on this base. And OntheAtack here is expanding. He's still down in income. He only has 41 SCVs. Jaco only 39 drones. They have done damage to each other. And this has just been an exhausting, brutal game back and forth. OntheAtack turtling with success, but made a misplay with those BCs. If he let his BC count swell up until about 10 BCs, if he didn't lose those other BCs, this could snowball. But 4 BCs caught out on the map like this. He just has to micro away from the ground while killing the Corruptors. Maybe TP on that red BC if he has it. Is he out of teleport? No, he has a tactical jump still. So keeping this BC here at 25 HP, even a Queen can focus that down. Now the tactical jump happens. Jaco evacuating the base. OntheAtack just microing with these BCs. He's got to get as much value as he can get while not losing them. Nice tactical jump. But he's forgetting about this whole gold base down here. And now the BC's almost walking into the Hydras. But Jaco actually driving the BC southwards. Which might enable OntheAtack to discover this base. Instead he does a warp. And OntheAtack coming back looking for the repair now. And this is definitely a knockout, drag-out game. But OntheAtack is now taking the 2 o'clock position. And instead of Jaco pushing this base, which is almost mined out, he should be investigating the north part of the map. These Corruptors could goop down other orbital commands while this position has been breached. Just getting a little bit more efficiency for your time. Jaco is just going to go straight for the production, however. And this might be good enough to do it. OntheAtack pushing on the other side of the map, his own bio. It's a bit of a base race situation here. BCs are being targeted. But those Hydras are going right into the tank line with 2 barracks in front of them where they can't breach, and they're going through this narrow choke. OntheAtack has really done a good job making a Sim City that's hard to breach. And all the while, I think he's scoring critical damage to Jaco back home. Jaco, I don't know if he has an army to deal with this bio now. He lost all of his ground army to that choke point. And attacking those expansions, which were much more vulnerable and not as well entrenched, would have been the play. But now it's just speedling Hydra against this bio. Yes, the Corruptors will take out the medvacs. Will it be enough? Now the bios go down. Oh my god, the bio is just wiping out what's left of Stefan's army. And on the OntheAtack here, has he secured yet another victory against Jaco? The gold base has not been discovered. But it's hard to imagine Jaco coming back. He doesn't have the production now. He has 3 hatcheries, 2 of which are not being injected. And even though he's got energy on this Queen, this hatchery is not being injected. He just needs a few roaches out to stabilize. But even if he does, I mean, look at these bases here for on the OntheAtack. Actually, they're not being mined like they should be. We have a lot of idle SCVs that could be mining for in these bases, and that's critical for OntheAtack right now. But the army size consolidated now with the battle cruisers, probably just too much for Jaco to muster a response to. So I feel like this is a good game. Jaco has a bit of money in the bank, but I mean, it's just not enough here. Not enough production to get back in the game. And OntheAtack's economy, it's not that great either, to be honest. I mean, taking those bases, he's not even transferring those SCVs, or has he transferred them yet? I don't see them. Mining. So OntheAtack does not have much income either. But he has an unbeatable army. And that's the problem. There's not enough production for Jaco to mount a defense against this army. At least I don't think so. We'll see how long it takes OntheAtack to finish off Jaco. But if he keeps parade pushing down the map, He should be able to take out Jaco. Just too many Marines. Hatchery going down. 3 drones here. They're toast. Getting hit by the concussive shells. Hatchery that's been built here going down. Roaches for the defense. The eggs are getting killed. And there's just not enough production for Jaco, even though he has the income advantage. Well, now it's income parity about. That's how bad things are going for Jaco. And it's over. I really would appreciate a GG here. This game is over. But Jaco, a very tenacious fighter. He doesn't want to give up. 2 Ravagers left, 2 Corruptors. A knockout, drag-out brawl. And it's just a poise problem for Jaco. He needs to get better at picking his fights and containing his enemy. Maybe a bit of impatience. And on the attack, using those patented micro skills. Microing the BCs to good effect. Shutting down Jaco. And the first game in this best of 4 for Bum Starcraft League goes to OntheAtack. Jaco can't believe it. Good game, gentlemen. And let's see here. The caster is going to join the Discord call.
Vial you in the middle of the game, and my vial wasn't working.
Oh, Colin had a theory about that, actually. If you maybe had the same grouping for the...
I didn't have infestors out.
Yeah, I was wondering why your vial wasn't working.
I intentionally didn't build infestors so I wouldn't have that problem.
Wow, look at those fucking graphs, eh? They're all over the place.
That was a long game.
Wow-y. Murphy, you got that, eh?
Yeah.
That was like the longest game I've ever played.
I mean, that was a long one to cast. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Oh, bet, man. Look at that.
And the caster, he was in the chat with the 2 players.
Wow.
And both players are reeling from that event.
Almost 1,000 units killed.
1,000 units killed for OntheAtack.
No, in total. I only killed 600.
What a barn burner of a game.
Holy shit, eh?
Yeah, I almost broke you a couple times.
Oh, yeah, man. It was very back and forth. Knocked out my 3rd base repeatedly.
I think the lack of vials there cost you against those tanks.
I tried to vial and it wasn't working.
Yeah. Weird,
I was trying to vial.
You don't have to research it or something? Yeah, look at that. You hit my economy super hard at one point there.
Yeah. I mean, I think Stefan might have thrown that at the end, but, you know, it was a close game.
Hard to say. I mean, yeah. Yeah, it just went back and forth so much there, so many times.
Yeah, just attacking up those narrow chokes is...
That's true. Those were...
That's what you were hoping for.
Yeah, I actually didn't take enough advantage of that type of situation, but there was a few clutch moments, I guess.
BCs did you well also.
Yeah,
although they got caught out once, but
once or twice, yeah. But overall, I think they were a great bang for their buck. Like, I guess I lost quite a few of them by the end, but like they killed a shit ton of people. So
yeah.
Fly in on their regular power so that I would have the so I've had a few times where I teleported in and then like regret it because you can't get away fast enough, right? But if you sort of leave it as a
as an out, yeah,
in reserve as an escape hatch, then it's great because then like you know, you sort of batter them until they're in the red and then just go home basically.
Yeah, I saw you warp the red ones back.
Yeah, I was trying to be conscientious of that there.
So are we going again?
Fuck yeah, bro, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I'm recording.
Okay.
I need my revenge. Okay, ready?
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, good luck, guys.
Thank you, sir.
And welcome to Game 2. Jaco, the red Zerg in the top left, versus OntheAtack, the blue Terran in the bottom right. So we saw some stuff go down in the last game. OntheAtack, very much contained on his side of the map, but was doing a slow expand, very safe, very slow, getting his tanks in position and just waiting for Jaco to throw that Roach Hydra force through the middle, through the narrow ramps, into planetaries, into tanks. At times, Jaco successfully dislodged bases, but he kept pushing in, tried to get to the production, And there were just too many tanks in the back line for OntheAtack, obliterating his force. The battle cruisers also got value towards the end of the game. And that was a heartbreaker for Jaco, because he really did have the gold. He had basically the whole map against the 4-base Terran. And still was not able to close that one out. So you got to be wondering what's going through Jaco's mind right now after 3 consecutive losses to OntheAtack. 2 of which were warm-up matches before this tournament. But he wants to be the BSL champion. He wants that prize money. The $50 prize ticket to the winner of this tournament. He wants it badly. But more so than the money, he wants the notoriety of being the bum Starcraft League champion. But OntheAtack here, showing the classic poise. He's been able to drag Jaco into deep water and get cost-effective engagements. And that's made up the difference even though he was at an income disadvantage last game. And that's kind of been his style throughout his whole StarCraft career. I mean, he doesn't mind the most. He doesn't have the most production. His macro can be criticized sometimes. But he's able to draw the Zerg into these terrible engagements often, where he has tanks in good positions. And he's able to get that cost-effectiveness back and make it work for him. And then ultimately, he counters his opponent for the win. And this time here, switching it up, going for the Reaper early. And let's see how OntheAtack's Reaper micro is. But Stefan, or Jaco rather, has been prepared. He's got 6 lings. That should be more than enough. He's just got to micro back the wounded lings. Queen comes out. Oh, you should definitely still inject though. I know you want to kill that Reaper, but if you're delaying your injects, it could be bad. Reaper is coming in your wounded where he should know that a Queen will be. And oh, we see now why ATAC does not build the Reaper very often. He has trouble microing that thing while still doing his macro at home. And we saw it there. And now Jaco is countering across the map, looking to be aggressive. He has the Baneling Nest. And I think he's just a little bit irritated at the fact that he's dropped 3 games to OntheAtack and he's lost the first game of this best-of-5 series. And he's looking to do what he does best, and that's a Baneling bust. And to be honest, OntheAtack has a bit of a lax setup here. Where's the tank? The tank's only starting now. The bunker is way up in the middle with only 2 Marines in the bunker. So it seems like OntheAtack is confident, or doesn't really know that Jaco's committing, since Jaco did a macro play last game, but the macro didn't work. It's only logical he's going to rush now. Only 1 barracks producing. Jaco is supply capped. Oh, some Baneling shutting down this expansion. The tank is coming up on the ridge. They're a bit slow to bust the depot down. They should have busted the depot down right away. But he's just holding back and containing now. But I feel like if those Banelings immediately busted the depot, he could have won the game right there. But now he's going in the tank range. Oh my god. But behind this, Jaco is actually droning. This is some good StarCraft. He's learning from his mistakes in the last games. And he's containing ATAC while droning and taking that 3rd. So Jaco has taken the criticisms to heart. And he's doing a much smarter game plan in this game. And look at this, just 1 Ling taking down this SCV that's constructing the barracks. And now the Marines getting drawn out into a fight they shouldn't be taking. The tank is exposed. Yeah, there's a tank behind it, but okay, Baneling's into the mineral line. Look at that. And now the tank fire is going to collateral damage these SCVs. And OntheAtack has just been neutered really hard. He's not breaking through the ramp, but... And look at this, 13 drones for Jaco. And Jaco finally here seems to be hitting a stride against OntheAtack. This is the most commanding position he's been in. And he's learned from his mistakes. He shut down the natural. He purged the SCV line. While droning behind his own natural expansion. So he is definitely ahead here. He's only ahead six workers, so he's got to keep droning up those lines. Because with mules, the income is not that different. In fact, on the ATAC, slightly outmining Jaco even. So he needs to drone up a little stronger behind that. Because these mules here are spiking the income for on the ATAC. Jaco pooling money, could use an overlord, could use queens. And on the ATAC here has a bit of a gas crisis. He has a lot of infrastructure. He's got 2 factories. But he doesn't have the gas to keep pumping tanks while pumping a starport. So his starport is just idle right now. Whereas a Nidus network going down for Jaco, we don't see this all the time. Maybe inspired by some Serral videos he watched the other night. But he's putting a Nidus network down. And he's looking to mix it up here. Well, if he can Nidus into the back of the base where those tanks aren't set up, that would definitely be advantageous for him. Because he's had a tough time breaching the front lines of on the ATAC. A Nidus in the back lines would make a lot of sense. He's got to get an Overlord into position. And the only place where an Overlord is in position is in the natural, and that's where you do not want a Nidus. It's the most reinforced position. Third base going down for on the ATAC. 7 minutes 33 mark. Pretty late. But that's his style. For better or for worse. And we see here Ling Roach outside of the Nidus Worm. Where will he plant the Nidus? We're seeing an Overseer go across the map. Yep, that's a better location than where that Overlord is. The third base for Jaco, mining. But 4 Hellions just running in. No defenses at all. But at least Jaco has a good link count. Oh, running them back. Oh. Losing 4 workers there when he had the adequate defense numbers is just a little bit perplexing. These are areas where Jaco needs to improve in his game if he wants to climb the diamond ladder. On the ATAC. As that command center finishing. And Jaco needs to put some pressure on before that command center finishes and gets mining. Or else on the ATAC is going to start out incoming Jaco. Because Jaco does not have full saturation on that third. Almost 9 minutes into the game. And he has no 4th base. Let's see where the vision is. A Viking clearing Overlords. But the Nidus going down in the back here. The Nidus Worm going down. The units are going to start trickling in now. Let's see how on the ATAC responds. He doesn't know exactly where the Nidus is. He should know by now. And here we go. We got Lings trickling in, taking down the tank. But the reinforcements are helping out the tank here. 1 tank goes down. The Ling Roach getting to the mineral line. But it's actually not that big of an army. Like on the ATACs will easily be able to clean up this Nidus attack with just a few Marauders in a tank. So for a 9-minute Nidus, I mean, that was a very weak amount of troops coming out. So he had the right idea, just not the numbers. Imagine if you had 10 Lurkers burrowing behind that mineral line, which was very doable by the 10-minute mark. Both players pooling a lot of resources, low on supply. On the ATAC. Seems like he has the advantage now in this game. I thought Jaco did a good job of droning up behind it more and containing ATAC, but ATAC has taken this third without penalty. Meanwhile, the Nidus didn't really work out in the main, and Jaco is taking a very late 4th base, and only now it's finally saturating that 3rd base at the 10-minute mark. But hey, at least he is saturating that 3rd base. He just needs to grab the gases because he has minerals for days, but he does not have the gas. That's been a problem for Jaco in the last couple of games. Getting all of his geysers mining when they should be. And look at it here in this natural expansion. He has the geyser up, but no drones mining it. And same thing here in the main. So the lack of gas is really hurting the amount of troops Jaco can make. He just has a few Hydras. So at this point, he needs to be pumping out a lot of Lings. So he at least has an army to help stop this. Because OntheAtack didn't get the memo. He's moving across the map. He doesn't care. We see here, Lings out on the map from Jaco. Very forward position to build these Banelings, though. Way off creep. And OntheAtack here. I mean, he doesn't have any medevacs for this bio, which is problematic. I mean, it's not normal for a Terran to do that. He's unsupported. And there's the medvacs. But they were not there for the fight. And we see here, +1 range being researched by Jaco. Vehicle weapons level 2 for OntheAtack. Infantry armor 1 for OntheAtack. Thor's coming out. Not sure if I like the addition of a Thor, to be honest, because Thors don't do great against pure Roach Hydra. In small numbers, especially. I think sticking to a lot of siege tanks will do ATAC well, as long as he can continue to siege them up at the right time. And Jaco here getting Carapace 1. Upgrade's a bit late from both gentlemen. Only having 1 each at the 12-minute mark. Vikings coming out on the map. OntheAtack wants to clear some overlords. The Vikings. Scan going down for OntheAtack. He wants to see where the army is for Jaco, but he didn't get any information. Now both armies are going right by each other, and OntheAtack can set up here. Roach, Lingbane, Hydra for Jaco. The Ling's going in a little bit too early without the rest of the army. And Jaco is coming up, but oh my god, yeah, I mean, the problem for Jaco is just a little bit of everything. It's slow Banes, it's Roaches with no Ravagers, it's Hydras but no Lurkers, it's just a little bit of everything. And it doesn't trade that great against a coordinated Marine, Marauder, Medvac, and Tank army. You need to go pure Roach Ravager, or you need to go Lurker Ling Hydra, or Lurker Fastbane Hydra, or something. But just a ragtag composition like this is going to have difficulty. He has Ravagers now. Lurker gets taken out without Lurker range. The tanks definitely outrange it by a lot. And Stefan here just needs to buy time. He should just expand to the bottom of the map, drone transfer to the bottom of the map, and just macro up, keep injecting, don't let the moment get to him. If he can rally his reinforcements here for the top 2 bases, rally his reinforcements here for the bottom 2 bases, and then collapse on this army when OntheAtack is vulnerable, or overextended like this. But OntheAtack is not giving him time. And the tanks are way in the back, they're outside of bio range. And now, oh, Stefan is getting crushed by OntheAtack. It's just too much bio. And Jaco taps out of the game. OntheAtack with another win. He is only 1 game down from cinching this series. OntheAtack here.
Unstoppable, of course.
Stamping out
a rising star.
Stamping out Jaco.
What'd you think of that, eh, Murphy? A little bit more efficient, a little more decisive. No putzing around with those
I
battle
don't even
cruisers.
remember what happened in the beginning, but
well, he bangling busted me, kind of good. Like,
yeah, it was the failed Nidus, I think, was the turning point.
Oh yeah, how does it work with Nidus's anyway? Because he was in there, like I was very worried. I was like, oh shit, I'm not gonna get there fast.
Just not enough troops for 10 minutes in the game.
I suppose, yeah, yeah.
This wasn't like one tank and a few of your bio could clean it up.
It was a couple of tanks actually. You knocked one of them out, but yeah, it was not a huge force that I sent there. I guess we both been struggling at that point, fighting back and forth. Oh, so the third and potentially final round then.
Yep, I'm ready.
Yeah, Mr. Undefeated.
Stefan, man, you got to teach this guy a lesson here. Can't go down.
I know. I gotta teach this guy a fucking lesson.
Just keep your shit injected all the time and spend your larva.
Okay, thanks, Tips.
Back to the basics.
Back to the basics. Make them pay.
And in the bottom left corner, his back is to the wall, Jaco. And in the top right corner, up 3-0 in this best of 5 series, OntheAtack. And a bit of a rough series for Jaco so far. His back is definitely to the wall. He had a tough time with his army composition. Bit of a ragtag force, you know, some banelings, some hydras, slow banes, that is, and roaches. And against a really upgraded Marine Marauder army with Medvac, it's just going to tear right through that unit composition, that kind of ragtag force. He needs to go Pure Roach Ravager, or perhaps Lingbane Hydra, or Lurker Ling Hydra. Something like that. And OntheAtack's got to be feeling really good right now. He's on the verge of victory. He was able to get his third base up unencumbered last game. While the Nidus Worm play was a good idea for Jaco, but really just didn't have enough numbers to punish that position. So that ineffective attack is what allowed Atack to get his third up without much issue. And he took control from that game, from then on. Barracks on the low ground now for OntheAtack, puts the command center behind it. Looks like a standard hatch gas pool from Jaco. We'll see if he wants to do a Baneling bus again. That's always a question with Jaco. We know he's used it with great success on the ladder. But against an opponent like OntheAtack who knows you well, who knows that it's very likely that kind of play is coming, that element of surprise is somewhat diminished. Jaco staying on top of his overlords. Does not want to get capped in this game. It's his last chance to continue on in this series in the Bum Fight League. The Bum Starcraft League, rather. But it's definitely a fight whenever these two guys are on the map. Factory again behind, Tech Lab going down. Very similar builds. OntheAtack likes his defensive style. Likes to get that tank out, put it in a good position, and just try to get value from Jaco, who just headbutts in. Let's see if Jaco switches it up, or probably not now. We see 6 lings out. That's definitely for something aggressive. 8 lings now. Queens pop out. Injects are going to come at any time now. And Jaco's moving across the map. Tad late on these injects, to be honest. Behind it, the Baneling nest. So definitely some kind of Baneling bus is coming again from Jaco. He's upset. He's behind in this series. He wants to eke out some kind of justice. And he feels like he should be able to. He's had success before busting the natural. If he can bust down the natural and then just kind of contain Atack's expansion while he grabs his third and drones up, that could be a viable path to victory for Jaco. Let's see here. The tank is on the high ground for OntheAtack. 2 Marines come out to investigate. I'm not sure about that. You're kind of just handing your opponent 2 Marines there. The Banelings are looking to bust this. They turn away because the bunker is blocked by the supply depot, but they go into tank fire, and the depot is not down. Oh no. The Lings get through, but they have just been finished off by the tank, and this rush is stopped before it even started. 2 more Marines come out for OntheAtack. And Jaco is flooding more Zerglings into the meat grinder. And meanwhile, he's got no third base. Drone count, he's up 5 drones, but with mules, that's not much of a lead, if any. 2 base to 2 base. Third base is coming up now with that rich gas. But this base is a forward base, so it's going to be very pushable, this push distance between this third base from Jaco and OntheAtack's natural expansion, where those barracks are, is not very far at all. But Jaco, he recognizes this and he puts a Roach Warren down. So Roaches are very good in the mid game at holding positions and not getting bullied around by armies. Hold the top of the ramp with Roach Ravager and he might be able to defend that position. So I like that he's going for a meaty composition here. But producing more Lings right now, that could be drones. I'm not sure what they're going to do. They cannot penetrate that wall. But they can ensure that this position here doesn't have a CC land in it or on it. Overlord here. Also checking for this third CC from OntheAtack. I like that. Another Overlord place here. Can possibly get scouting information later or see any medvacs that come out. So some decent Overlord positioning from Jaco. He doesn't have the money to spend this larva. And that's a problem right now. And getting these spores and spine crawlers and 2 more gas while being 10 of 16 here. It's a bit too much investment in these geysers right now. He needs to saturate that mineral line first before taking the gas. And he's really hurting for minerals. See here a Marine scouting that third base. Gets taken out by a Ling. And some more Speedlings coming back. And I don't know about sending 2 Marines to scout what 1 Marine could have just scouted. But ATAC does confirm that third base is there. And he's not waiting. He saw that Jaco didn't really have much there. Not many troops were shown. Just a couple of Lings. And even though the Roach Warren is already up and running for Jaco, he doesn't really have any Roaches. He's just pure Ling right now. Let's look at the units. Well, he has 2 Roaches actually. 7 Lings, but OntheAtack going to the wrong third base location. Even though he scouted the third base up north, or maybe he's doing this on purpose. Maybe he wants to wedge himself between the rally points. Tank's a bit far back here. He's giving Jaco some time. The tank was threatening the base. And not the eggs. It would be a little more urgent for Jaco. Jaco needs to make sure his reinforcements do not trickle into these tanks. Separate the rally point from this base to the opposite side so reinforcements do not get caught in the middle. It's very hard to play when there's a tank line in between your reinforcements. And buy as much time as possible. Maybe even just, he's going to have to give up this hatchery. Reinforcements are trickling out, that's the problem. Nice pile. But he only has 2 Ravagers. If those were 3 Ravagers, that tank would be dead. And now ATAC scans the high ground and he takes out a Ravager. Jaco morphing 2 more. His back is really to the wall now. He's getting outsupplied by the Terran. And OntheAtack, no third CC behind this. He smells blood in the water and he's going for it. Up 3-0 in this series. High confidence. Mule repairing the tank. And Jaco here invested in the tech of a Hydralisk Den, but he really just needs as much Roach Ravager as he can get to survive this assault. And he's a supply capped here. And that is not helping. 1,500 minerals in the bank. He's injecting at least. But he needs Overlords really badly. Only 4 Overlords starting right now. So he's been supply capped all this time with no Overlords starting. And he's... no reinforcements coming. He's running out. Some Banelings. No connections on the Marines. And the tank line is just destroying Jaco. Or Jaco. And the Queen coming forward. Oh, and he's been broken. OntheAtack is going to be victorious in this series. 4-0. And it was a little bit of a poise problem. OntheAtack getting in between the reinforcement lines. And some troops with bad rallies just getting picked off. a really bad supply cap there. And I feel like Jaco had a decent army. If he did not get supply capped and had about 7 or 10 more roaches hatch, and maybe save a few of those roaches up north that went south into the tank line with a different rally point, maybe he could have beaten this army. Now he's morphing banelings, but it feels like too little too late, because there's too many tanks here. The Vikings could just be pushing in and sniping overlords. Bit of lazy play from ATAC, but he knows he's ahead. Banelings connect on the Marines. Really nice connections. They had nowhere else to go, so they just went into that tank, but the tank survives, barely. But Jaco doesn't want to give up. He knows this is his last game of the series. And despite the good Baneling connections, he is a one-base Zerg. And that's not a good place to be in. Viking almost gets taken out by the Spine Crawler. But OntheAtack wisely moves it back. Jaco here, shelling from the low ground. The Queen gets taken out. Any units are colossal losses. Any units lost are colossal losses right now. But the game is effectively over. Jaco just doesn't want to believe it. Pulls the drones, his final stand. Lings and roaches into the meat grinder. And OntheAtack going to take down this series 4-0 and advance into the winner's bracket, into the finals of the Bum Fight League. Good game, gentlemen.